I am Mr. Ralph and I will be your teacher for today. Our topic for today is all about poem. At the end of the lesson, I am expecting you to first, understand the sound, rhythm, and rhyme of the poem. Second, identify the elements or features of the poem, such as alliteration, assonance, and senses. Third, identify and use single-word adjectives, phrases, and clause in their correct form, position, and function. And last, write a free-verse poem. So to start our lesson, I am going to show you two pictures and I will let you to think about 20 seconds and later on, you will share all your thoughts about the picture. Time's up. So I'm now going to ask about your thoughts. So who among you can share your thoughts about these two pictures? Anyone? Yes? Very good. The two pictures shows the difference between the countryside and the city. So this activity has something to do with our lesson for today, which is the poem. So, what is a poem? A poem is a piece of writing that partakes of the nature of both speech and song that is nearly always rhythmical and usually metamorphical, and often exhibits such formal elements as meter, rhyme, and stanzas. So I know as well that all of us already read a poem, but my question is, who among you already read a poem about nature? Anyone? Very good. Some of you already read a poem about nature, but most of you didn't. So I am now telling you a poem that is entitled Line from a Mountain Lass by Trinidad da Rosa Subido.
Lines from a Mountain Lass by Trinidad da Rosa Subido. I must go back to my mountain haunts where the winds are ever cool, and the flower scents are freely had, and the wild trees blossom full. I must again go to my mountain home, where one is nearer God, back to the hut half hid from view at the end of a winding road. Aye, for my God is nearer me, for every wish and prayer shall rise to Him, impeded not by the dust of Azida's ear. Aye, nearer God, for He dwells among the fields, the streams, the trees. He steers among the dewdrops, His breath on the mountain breeze. Give me the ways of the mountain men, though they're wild and crude. Their hearts, at least, are honest, sincere their mood. Give me the ways of the mountain folk, their candid looks and laughter, their simple quid of life and death, their faith in the hereafter. I must again go to the mountains, where the winds eternal sing, and the birds, bees, and butterflies are ever on the wing. Souls that lessen distance to win God's and my abate. I must go back to my childhood home at the end of a winding road. Lines from a Mountain Lass.
It is such a wonderful poem, right? So now we will be having an icebreaker game that is entitled Partners in Rhyme. The mechanics of the game is you are going to pick out the rhyming words derived on the poem, and later on you will be using the code in the Mentimeter that I am going to flash in the screen. Your participation in the game. So moving on to our next topic. Our next topic is all about the other element of a poem, which is alliteration and assonance. So what is this two about? So here's an example of alliteration. birds, bees, and butterflies. So as you can observe, they all starts with letter B, which is repeated in every single word. Birds, bees, and butterflies. Moving on, assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound in a word. Like for example, fields, streams, and trees. So as you can observe, the repeated vowel sound is E. Field, streams, and trees. Job well done, students! So now you already know the different elements of a poem. I will now give in the spotlight to Ms. Marian, who will be discussing you about the senses in a poem.
Student, I am Miss Marian and I will be discussing you on how senses appear on a poem. So class, do you still remember the 5 senses? Please raise your hand if you do. Very good. As you can see, the poet used a simple yet easy statement to describe their childhood. So class, let's have a game that's called Common Sense. The mechanic of the game is, you are going to identify on which senses do those phrases appear. Number 1. Were the winds are ever cool? The answer is sense of touch. Number 2. The flower sense. Sense of smell. Number 3. Hot house hid from view. Sense of sight. Number 4. Wild trees blossom full. Sense of sight. Lastly, number 5. Where the winds eternal sing is sense of hearing. So class, I am hoping that you learn a lot on the senses. So now I am giving the spotlight to Miss Christine Hotalia. Thank you.
Morning class, I am Miss Christine Hotalia and today I will be discussing you about using single word participles, participial phrases, and adjective clauses. You have learned that modifiers may be single word adjectives, adjectival word groups, or adjective phrases, and adjective clauses. Such verb-like words used as adjectives are called participles. The ing form is the present participle, while the ed or en form is the past participle. Take note of the single word participles used as adjectives in the following sentences. The winding road led to her hut. The adjective winding modifies the noun road. For example, she went back to a hidden hut in the forest. The adjective hidden modifies the noun hut. As you observe, the single word participle acts as an adjective. So now class, I'm going to give you an activity entitled, Are You Single? So in this activity, you are going to use the present or past participle in the parentheses to complete the sentence. Number 1. Every morning, the athlete takes a blank drink. Okay, the answer is refreshing. Number 2. She never has a blank look. Okay, the answer is worried. Number 3. Yesterday, we submitted our blank reports. So, the answer is written. Number 5. Tonya wrote about the blank environment. The answer is deteriorating. So I hope you understand on how to use the past participle and other grammatical categories in a poem. So here is Mr. Ralph to give you some evaluation about our lesson for today.
So I hope you've learned a lot for our lesson today. That's why, as a part of our evaluation, you are going to write your own poetry online, a free verse poetry about your experiences in this pandemic. You can upload it in the powerpoetry.org that will flash on your screen. To end up our lesson for today, we will give you a powerful quotation about Octavio Paz. To read a poem
is to hear it with our eyes.
Thank you for listening.